We're going to continue on the series, Will Your Marriage Last? Part 5. Being content. Now, part 1, we talked about emotional affairs. We talked about lust, part 2. We talked about physical changes in part 3. Part 4, we talked about health. And now we're going to talk about being content or contentment. God's design of marriage was something very special. Those of us who have been married, we know how it feels when we have a strong bond, connection, becoming one flesh. Our spouses know us well, better than anyone else. And we can have the right conversations, the right support, the right thoughts and feelings when we are faced with difficulties. And not only difficulties, but even when things are going well. We can talk about these things. Being content requires a great discipline, especially for those who struggle with their identity and looking at others for their way of life. We see celebrities that they marry their high school or college sweethearts before they became famous, before they were making good money, before they had children. So being content is something that every marriage must have. Too many relationships are failing because they're not content. They keep wanting more. They keep their lives separate, their bank accounts, their friends. Their most intimate parts of their lives can involve people outside of their marriages. And when they lose certain possessions, they have a hard time being content. One of the best experiences that a marriage can face is when they lose certain possessions. And they have to live very differently than they were before. Several marriages have been torn apart from some of their challenges. And one or both spouses can accept the situation that they're in. They want more. And they can't have what they've lost. And they don't want to accept that they failed. Or they see themselves as failures because they don't have the things they had before. The loss of a very financial stable position. They have to downsize their homes. Possibly, they can't afford a new car anymore, so they have to buy a used one. They don't have the means to buy the most expensive clothes as they did before. So they have to go through these stages of not being content. God formed marriage as a unique bond between man and woman to remain one flesh until death do they part. This is a serious commitment. And God wants you to do it properly. Stay on the course of your marriage. And never lose sight of his kingdom. Don't lose your marriage over possessions that are not part of God's kingdom. Have your heart, mind, and soul ready when God returns. So you are prepared to be in his kingdom of everlasting life.